Say, Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney at number 2, up one from number 3 on my fantasy playlist, November 20th, 1983. And Paul McCartney had that huge collaboration with Stevie Wonder back in 1982, Ebony and Ivory, a brilliant song by Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. And they collaborated, Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. They collaborated on 3 records. The interesting thing about Say, although it was released after This Girl Is Mine and The Man, Say was actually recorded before those 2 songs. And number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 by 1983. Here's a couple of statistics I'm going to lay on you. By 1983, between Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson, they had put up 37 singles to number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100. Now, later on in the 80s, that number would probably push 40 as Michael Jackson had some number 1s off the Bad album. Michael Jackson, boy, I tell you, 1983, that was his year. He hit his peak in 1983. Including this record, he had about 7 top 10 singles in 1983, including, of course, all the songs that were off of Thriller. Winner of 82 and 83, This Girl Is Mine, and then by Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. And then there was Billie Jean, Beat It, Want to Be Starting Something, and Human Nature was absolutely beautiful. We got, oh man, one of my favorite songs from that era. You might remember. Nobody ever plays it anymore. You seldom, I don't know, you seldom hear it anymore. It was a kick-ass dance record by Michael Jackson and Mick Jagger, State of Shock. You might remember that one. That was pretty cool. That was in 1984. It was Michael Jackson who suggested a collaboration. He called Paul McCartney Christmas Day, 1980. How would you like to write some songs? Let's write some songs together. Let's put together some tracks. Let's collaborate. Paul McCartney, well, okay. He was open to the idea. Fall of 1981, Michael Jackson, he flies to London. And by then, Paul McCartney had already written, or at least written most of Say. And they recorded at George Martin's Air Studios and produced by George Martin. Spring of 1982, some months later, Paul McCartney flies to Los Angeles. And Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson, they record This Girl Is Mine and The Man. And The Man, by the way, you could find that on Paul McCartney's album, The Pipes of Peace. And they recorded those 2 songs, This Girl Is Mine and The Man, at that recording studio in Los Angeles in 1982. God, it's just something. I want you to think about this. You're fabulously rich rock pop star like Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney, to where you just fly anywhere. Don't have to save money or anything, just fly. Well, I guess I'll fly to Los Angeles to record some tracks, I mean, that's it. The stratosphere of the rich and famous right there. Song debuted at number 26 on Billboard's Hot 100. October 15th, 1983. Now, at that time, there's been a lot of debuts higher than that. Some songs in more recent years debuting at number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100. As Billboard Hot 100's kind of changed their mythology over the years. Methodology. Well, anyway, this was the highest debut since John Lennon debuted at number 20. I didn't know he debuted at number 20 with Imagine. And that song debuted at number 20 on Billboard's Hot 100 on October 23rd, 1971. Went to number 1, Say, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. Clever video to go with this record, too. Number 1 on my fantasy playlist, actually number 2, but heading for number 1 on my fantasy playlist, November 20th, 1983. Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney.